Thank you, Gary, for the very enlightening sharing. I think for many of us, we are really very excited to hear about how actually AI can be used to help us navigate the very volatile world of jobs in future, or rather is now.
Yes.
Yes. So
Every
now,
day.
yes. So now, I'm sure the audience have many exciting questions to ask you after hearing your sharing.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the first question. How current and how real-time are your system updates?
Yeah. So I think we try to be as current as possible by continuously crawling labor market data. We do update our taxonomy about once every month. So new job titles, new skills go into the system, but we are trying to make that speed faster. So at the end of the day, we want to be hitting that level of pretty much like every week or every day that we can get that relevancy.
I see. So if since you do your data mining every day, is there any new jobs that, hey, these are some emerging jobs that you have not heard of previously and now is appearing more and more often? Will you be able to share some insights and some examples of them?
I think a lot of us may know the very classic examples of like IT careers, you know, you can say data scientist, now they say things like IoT engineer and all that. But I think what is the most, to me, the most amazing data set or the amazing fact that we found, it's not so much new careers coming out. It's actually consolidation of old careers. Let me give you a mixing of skill sets. People need to do more at the same job nowadays. Let me give you an example. So for example, marketing manager, right? You know, maybe 10 years ago, you just need to do, being able to do copywriting. Maybe you need to do, how do you look at market analysis, stuff like that. Nowadays, you get a lot of technical skills needed, right? Not just software, but also even things like data analysis. You must be able to crunch the numbers of which channel is most effective and all that. This used to be done by a dedicated data analyst, for example. So it's just a mixing of requirements that are, although it's the same job title, but the skill sets are changing so fast. And that's the most pertinent fact that I'm starting to see in our data set.
Okay, so based on this data that you have received, so how do you think, what kind of advice will you give us after looking at the data and we realize that, hey, if now I want to go into marketing, I may need to do data analytics. So how are the report able to tell me these are the skill sets that I'm missing? So
that's exactly what we do in the third part of the tool, which is the learning portfolio. Again, even for me, I am a marketing professional. It's very hard for me to tell people what's going on in the world today because I don't have a pulse on it anymore, right? I've changed roles somewhat already. So this system needs to be able to identify not just career recommendations, but skills gap analysis as well. So yes, to answer the question, exactly. When you go in, you choose, let's say, a marketing manager role. Even if you're a marketing manager today, we're going to show you what are the latest skills that the industry is looking for. And it's up to you to decide. Do I want to pick up this skill through a course or through applying it at work or through changing roles, for example? So we try to be holistic. It's not just self-awareness. It's not just career exploration, but also closing gaps as well.
Okay, I think the next question that our career practitioners have is, what is the training program, what's the cost, and do they actually need to go through any certification in order to do this?
Good question. So again, we try to be non-traditional, to be franker. You're all used to being, you must be certified in this tool, that tool, and then they give you a nice certificate to say you're certified. That's great, that's good. But in the world of technology nowadays, right? Look at LinkedIn, look at Facebook, look at Google. It must be so self-service and so intuitive that you don't need certification to understand how to interpret such results. Isn't that the case? So for us, we do whole training workshops, don't get me wrong. We do whole training workshops to help coaches to understand how to apply this tool. We do whole workshops to help job seekers or to help students understand how to use this tool. Yes, it's there, but we don't want to mandate that you must get a certification to understand, because the report itself, look at it, it's intuitive. The user has managed to profile their skills, has managed to say the careers they're interested in, has managed to articulate their skills portfolio with a STAR method. Then it's up to the coach to look at it and understand from their experience, okay, what can I help this candidate with? Is it focusing on a certain role? Is it doing interview prep? Is it doing CV optimization? So in a way, the answer is yes, there is workshops to help you understand the tool and be certified, but there's no formal certification process. currently.
I see. So if the learners are able to read the report on their own, so during your training, what will you actually value add them with? Should they insist that I really, really think I need a training?
It's a good question. So I think we are not here to replace the work that is being done by people. I think we're here to enhance. So for example, we did hold such workshops for a particular school as well and their alumni. So these are really experienced professionals, 30 to 40 years old. They're looking to understand or their skill set or to look at transferable careers. The coach actually may sit down with them. We actually sat down with some of our clients when they're using the tool at the computer lab. And then we sit down with them and like, help them to break down their skills, identify like which is the ones that they want to highlight, right? After the exercise of 15 minutes, right, you may get 30, 40 skills. Each working professional, 10, 20 years experience will tend to have such a basket of skills, right? They may not know what to focus themselves on. Again, that's where a practitioner comes in to add that expertise to say that, oh, based on your background and based on your career choices, I think these are the pertinent skills that you want to brand yourself against. And when you go for interview, you want to be super prepared that you can talk about these skills in detail. And that's where a tool that takes away a lot of the manual work of career exploration, skills articulation, can bring the client to the next level faster rather than having to go through that, with a lot of manual sessions. You bring them to the level of awareness, give them the higher value sort of consultancy or advice.
Okay, so the bottom line is the report is intuitive, it's easy to read,
Yep.
but if they really think that they feel very insecure, they feel that, hey, I think I need to know at the information at a guru level, then I will suggest that they come look for you.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, so you mentioned that before they generate the report, there'll be a series of questions. So they are also curious to know how long exactly would the client need to finish the questionnaire survey?
Okay.
Yeah.
So because we have students using, we have experienced professionals using, we find that students, because they don't have that many skills to articulate, right? They spend a lot more time in the career exploration part. So for example, certain students from the art school, wow, they are very excited because it shows them specific, let's say, media careers. They never knew the name of that career. So they spend a lot of time in the exploration part. But for experienced professionals, it's a lot about skills articulation, because some of them have 10 previous jobs. So we need to spend time with them to put in the system, put a job title in, be able to click and articulate that, these are the sort of skills I have. And then during that skills portfolio building, to be able to drill down, to favorite these or brand themselves against these skills and write the details of how I applied this at work. That is the time that more time consuming part. Again, the system is intuitive. You can skip everything if you want to skip it, it's fine. So some people can take 5 minutes, but in general, it takes 15 to 20 minutes. Some can actually go home and continue doing. We find that quite common as well.
Okay, so even if a 5-minute answer will be able to give a comprehensive report itself. Yes. So I think you mentioned a lot about the skill set that is needed in the future world. So is there a definition of the skill so that when I'm reading it and employ, hey, I thought I have it, but when employers look at me like, I don't think so.
It's a very good question, actually. It's a very, very good question. It's something we're working towards, but because of the nature of our technology, we are looking at job descriptions, we're looking at resumes, right? We can find the keywords. For example, the person may say, marketing manager needs to know, let's say, SEO, right? I know what SEO is, but the system may not know. So for now, we can show the keyword SEO, but over time, one of the things that we are enhancing is, yes, you're right, exactly. How do we define this skill? How do we find places for the person to learn this skill or even connect to people with this skill as well? So that is a separate thing. That is our platform product, which is used by schools and enterprise as well. We do some of that. So the company actually comes in to define the skill, even down to a level of proficiency. That's more advanced. But with this data set, of course, when the company uses it, it's to their own context. But over time, when we have more companies using it to define the skills, yes, we can surface this sort of definitions to the casual user as well.
I see. So based on what we have shared, you have been working very closely with the companies to really mine the data and the information that they are able to provide you in what skills they are looking for in a candidate or a potential employee.
I think we focus a lot more on talent development rather than talent acquisition. So for example, our system is used by companies to chart their future skills roadmap, basically creating competency frameworks. And then with that system, we can actually bring in their staff to do skills articulation using the same tool, SPRI. So now I'm articulating my skills based on the company's data set. Then with all this data, I can actually recommend careers in the company to that staff, and then calculate skills gaps based on what the company wants the staff to achieve. So we do have a customized version of SPRI. We call it SPRE, Skills Profiling Report Enterprise, which is used by companies for their own staff, ring-fenced to their data.
So because AI is a state of art and is the buzzword in today's context, do you have many companies on board with you, or you're still exploring at this moment?
Yeah, so I can't be as I can't be as impressive as a previous speaker, to be frank. We're a small Singaporean company, support local, but anyway, we're a Singaporean company. We started out about 3-4 years ago. I think one of the key things that we have is the local context. We work with WSG, we power the Singapore National Jobs Portal. We have ingested all the Singapore skills frameworks. So if someone using us from Singapore, I would consider us, a bit superior to other tools that are based on other sort of data. So that is the context of Singapore. A lot of our enterprise clients in Singapore, they may be MNCs from other countries, but they actually use us because it's a Singapore team that needs help, and we need Singapore context to that.
So I guess your advantage is your familiarity with the local context,
Yes,
I guess.
can
Yes.
Yeah.
I think given the recent cybersecurity scare, so many people are very concerned, hey, if my client were to give in so much data, what are the ways that you are going to protect the data? What is your policy on data privacy?
So I think the best answer is, again, the type of clients we have, right? So for example, we work with enterprise, MNCs, we work with Singapore government. They have put us through the baptism of fire. Amount of security protocols we have to do, all that sort of stuff. In fact, we are IMDA certified, accredited in terms of security and all these sort of things.
Okay.
So in that sense, our security protocols are strong. But we also understand, at the end of the day, it's perfectly fine to anonymize. So for example, some of our clients coming in, you don't need to put your real name. It's really up to you. Use it as a tool, right? Just see the results from it. I can't identify you. If you put your, random name, it doesn't matter, but you still get the value of the tool. So it really depends on how the client wants to work with such situations. Yeah.
I see. So at the end of the day, that what I can conclude is you will not be asking any very personal data on the form itself, but rather you're more interested to know what is their skill set and personality.
Correct.
That is the
not so much personality. We don't do personality, but skill sets, transferable skills, their career choices, and their skills articulation and portfolio. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question that we have is there any longitudinal study to see if the successful job seeker actually tallies with their profile? Because I believe some people may think, hey, I want to be a telemarketer today, but you realize that after a while, they are no longer in the job.
I think this is one of the very tricky studies to do. Again, it involves a lot of time and it involves data that cannot be tracked seriously. Even My Careers Future, when a person applies for a job in My Careers Future and the application goes to the company, can the government track what happens at the end? They can't, because the company won't report back. They have their own applicant tracking system, they have their own, etc., etc. So in that sense, I would say, although the dream is to have some study that can really prove that so cleanly, using tool A equals to job acquired B. But the reality of the situation is that it's very, very, very hard to track. So I think to be more objective in how you track, as I mentioned, some of the things we can do first cut is how happy the person is with the results. How happy are they with the tool, first cut. Second cut, can we correlate that to at least things like job applications? Has this tool managed to allow the person to click on different jobs more than before? So these are some of the data points we have. Again, I can't reveal yet because some of the clients are sensitive data, but we do see good results with that. Yeah.
So I guess in the near future, maybe we'll explore that a little bit further.
Yes. Possible as well.
Yes. So the next question is, if a client has a very good LinkedIn profile, can there be an integration of the information from LinkedIn into the platform that you have shared?
And so LinkedIn is a great source of data, right? All of us have very nicely prepared LinkedIn profiles. There are two challenges though. First of all, LinkedIn doesn't share this data out. That's their core competency. Their data is what makes the money, right? So even though we have LinkedIn integration in our system, when you click, we can only get your current job title and your last past education. That's all. And we all know to do a proper skills profiling, you need to go through the different lists of experience beforehand. So we do things like CV parsing. You put your CV, we can kind of analyze the text inside as well. That's just to solve some of these problems. Second is that I think a lot of us also have a set of skills from LinkedIn, but these are actually non-validated skills that are endorsed by friends in LinkedIn, your connections. You may have never met the person. I got endorsed by somebody I've never met before. So in a way, you can see it as it's a good data set, but it may not be highly accurate. So what we try to do with our tool is that we try to make sure that you agree with the sort of skills that we bring out for you and you can articulate it properly.
Okay, so since you touched on the topic on CV, so there's an audience who would like to find out, can you ask to what about CV optimization? So they would like to explain more.
It's a very big discussion. So CV, right? You can look at it, optimization as just formatting. Oh, instead of 10 pages, help you make it 1 page, right? Or make sure your name is on top and your email is on top. That's one form of optimization. But for us, again, we are very clear on what we do. We only focus on skills. And skills articulation, understanding your transferable skills, and understanding how that applies to jobs out there. So for our CV optimization that there's some projects around that. We focus on helping a user to be able to highlight their key skills. Again, the same process as we have, highlight their key skills, write the right keywords that the market understands, and be able to articulate the skill in detail in the STAR method. That's one of the key things that we try to support for CV optimization.
Okay, so you were saying that to use the keywords that the market understands. So so if I'm really clueless about what are the keywords, so is there any way that the system is able to assist me in that?
Yeah. So as I mentioned in that demo, as you saw in the demo, by putting in a job title, instantly I show you the market keywords of what is linked to that job title. That is the AI at work. And that is where, by right, a human being normally will come in and do probing questions. Oh, you were a security guard. You know, what are the skills you use as a security guard and all the different details. That's the way that we try to refresh with the intelligence behind the system to help you articulate so that when you choose the skill, you know that is what the industry is used to hearing.
Okay, so I guess even if somebody who is very, very new to the world of writing CV, the system will be able to help them.
A lot of our students have this exact value proposition. So when they click on certain job titles, they realize that, actually it means this skill set. Let's say the word AutoCAD. They may have learned it at school, but they didn't realize I need to put that technology inside my CV. So that's just one example. You're right.
Okay, so let's take a look at the next question. Besides skill set, is your data segmented based on region?
Yes. So again, that's one of our strengths. We try to be a bit local also to support Singapore local. And then we do segment by region, but it depends on the client. So some clients ask us like, hey, I'm a European company from this country. Do you have some data around that we can support? We do support, but depends on the scope of data we have. Yeah.
So since you have looked at the data in Singapore and also overseas, is there any similarity or difference in the data that you have seen so far?
Ooh, that's a touchy question. So this one, definitely there's differences, but the differences are not huge. So for example, let's say data scientists in Singapore versus data scientists in Europe, in US, the skills are largely the same.
Okay.
The weightage will change a bit. Maybe the most popular skill, Python, is instead of number 2 in Singapore, is number 4 in another country. But the family of skills generally is the same.
Okay, so we can say that we're still very safe if we use the system and we pick the correct set of skills. Our CV will look very good at the end of the day. Okay, let's take a look at the next question. So one of the career practitioners is very concerned that does he need to be with the client while he's doing the exercise?
Again, that's why we try to be different. You don't need to. It's built to be self-service. It's built. We have had thousands of students use this in their home. No career coach needed to talk to them. They did the report on their own. They had great reports. I can't show the report because it's proprietary, but really, really nice profiles. They wrote like their skill set, their nice CV, everything is perfect. And I was so happy to see that happen. And they sent out those feedback that you saw is really from the user. They said that they were so happy to understand the possible roles in the industry. No one told them this sort of stuff. Now they know, and they are able to articulate their skills. They wrote down the experience of what they have demonstrated at work. That's the self-service level that we try to achieve.
Okay, so I think this whole entire software is trying their best to be very intuitive and very helpful to someone who is either very experienced or even someone who is very fresh.
I think I want to hit the last question.
Yes, please go ahead. So, does SPRI in a way reduce the need for career counselors?
No. So again, I think a lot of people have fear that technology or AI will take away their jobs, right? And I give you a very classic example, ATMs. Last time, every bank needed to have someone sitting there, and then you must go and talk to the person to draw your money, right? Suddenly, ATMs come out. Did ATMs kill bank teller jobs? No. ATMs actually allowed bank tellers to do higher level roles. So the amount of bank tellers actually increased because the demand for banking services went up a lot. That's what we're trying to achieve with such a system. To be frank, the question is, how many people understand the need for career counseling? How many people understand the need for career development? That electrical engineer, he didn't even know that he had a problem. He thought he was doing the right thing by searching for electrical engineer in as many job portals as possible. He didn't realize that the problems that he had was lack of skills awareness, lack of career exploration, all this other stuff. If there's a tool that can come in very quickly, help them understand, oh, there's such a problem, there's such a solution, I need to take the next step to talk to a career coach to understand what are my interview prep that I need to do with you, practice, who are the companies I need to apply to, what's the industry like, what's the day in the life of an X or Y like, all these sort of things, and the motivation. The last part is a human being is the only one that can keep the person motivated in terms of their job search process, supporting them. These things cannot be automated. So what I'm saying is that SPRI is meant to take away some of the manual tasks, but also expand the market to show more people what career development can do for them. And then the career practitioners come in to provide higher level services.
This sharing I'm sure it makes them feel very comforted, and maybe they're thinking, oh, does it mean there's potentially more job for me because more people will feel that, hey, I'm really lacking in certain skill set and
actually,
require that help.
One thing that, because I work a lot with career practitioners, I think the key thing that a lot of us have is we are here to help people. We all love to see people succeed in their careers, right? So it's not so much, oh, I do this, have more work, but it's more like, hey, more people realize that they need advice, they need guidance, and they want to talk to me, and I can help them. I think that's the thing that we're trying to achieve. Yeah.
Yes, I think what we have mentioned has reassured all our career practitioners that their work cannot be replaced by a machine, and that their work is really touching the heart of the people out there. So I think the next few questions that we have are all more of usability issues, like is the report only in English, and whether they can subscribe directly to SPRI.
Currently it's only in English, yes. We plan to have other languages, but not that soon. I think English is doing well in certain markets also. Currently also, we don't allow subscription personally to SPRI. It's through career centers or universities or through the employers. But again, if you want to try the tool yourself personally, we can send you a demo link. Just let me know after this.
Okay, the very last question of the day. So if they were to subscribe to your tool and they were to key in certain skills, because I think in today, maybe I know Photoshop, but maybe my Photoshop level is level 1. So do you plan to have certain levels to prove your competencies, or is just one generic skills?
Correct. That's exactly what we built in the enterprise product. In the enterprise product, a company can come in to say that, okay, for this job title, I need this particular skill, and I need this particular proficiency level. What does 1 to 6 mean? What is my requirement? We have this data in our enterprise product, and then when the employee comes in, he or she can report their proficiency level, and then the manager can come in to validate the proficiency level. And same thing, skills gap analysis will come in to calculate the gaps. But on the individual self-service level, right, we try to keep it, again, Facebook and Google style, very simple, easy to use. When you go into proficiency level, I tell you, the guy will take 30, 40, 1 hour, 10 days, also cannot finish the thing. So we try to keep it simple. I just do STAR for you and have you articulate what is your previous experience. Oh, I did marketing, I get 10,000 users, or I get this sort of stuff. I use these tools. We let the interviewer evaluate the proficiency level. When they go into enterprise product, separate story. But for today, it's only just job seekers.
I see. So I guess we have more questions coming in. If you don't mind, can we spend the next 5 minutes to have one more question?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So one of the question is, they are curious to ask you if you can elaborate more on how personalized learning and development needs using the results.
Oh, yes. So I think the core of JobCred and all our various tools and systems is about personalization. It's about personalizing career recommendations, skills gap analysis, personalizing skills articulation. And this is pertinent again in the world of the future because everything is changing too fast. Things are moving too fast. People need something that is not cookie cutter anymore because it doesn't apply. And we want to reduce wastage. So I'll give you an example for the training side of things. So some of the companies we work with traditionally, they'll say, okay, you come to this role, you all must take this list of training courses, right? But the truth is, I may have some other skill that I got previously that actually I'm good at this course already. I'm good enough. Or I may have another direction I need to go towards this that doesn't mean that I need to take this course. So that's where personalization needs to come in to reduce this sort of wastage. So I think the future has to be something that's personalized to the individual, but also adaptive to the outside world, to the changes. So it's not static as well, the personalization. So I think that is the key thing we're trying to achieve.
Yes. So with that, is there any last thing that you would like to share with our career seekers or career practitioners based on your experience? What kind of advice will you be giving them?
Okay. So I think as the audience today is career practitioners, right? So you guys are really experts. You're on the ground. You're on the front lines, right? Dealing with the people all the time. We know, we talk to a lot of you. We know that there's a lot of admin stuff that is making a lot of headaches for y'all. But I think all of us at the core is about helping the individual. It's about seeing the success of them getting a fulfilling career or getting out of a slump of not being able to find a job for a long time. So I think a lot of us tend to worry about things like the next tool to use or the next software or this sort of stuff. I think for us at JobCred at least, right, the idea is very simple. We try to make it as self-service as possible, really. I always go back to the self-service element because we don't want to give you more work as career practitioners. We want to make your job easier. So the point is that when someone has gone through something simple, get it down on their own, when they come to you, they are ready to take a higher level discussion. They have done their homework in a way, and we can push this curve. You remember I showed that circle of the career development curve, right? Push people along that process further on so that we can move as a country or as an industry or as a practice, people along that curve, right? So that everyone can get the benefits of career practitioners or career development in a higher level. I think that's kind of what we're trying to achieve. And it's not so much like what tool to use or what is the accuracy or what. It's more of like, can we use something that uses technology to push people along that path faster so that everyone benefits better? I think that's my kind of ending statement.
I believe the career practitioners will feel very comforted to know that, hey, actually to have a successful career is the job of an individual, maybe with a help and push of the career practitioners working together. I believe that everyone will have a very fulfilling and successful career in their own ways. So with that, thank you, Gary, for your time and sharing today. We've come to the end of the seminar, and I think Anna and Gary has given us a very good introduction to the two tools, VIP24 and SPRI. So to find out more, you may contact them directly or via the email address. Okay, so now, before we end the seminar, I would like to remind all our participants to actually help us complete a post-event survey. We'll be sending out the email to you shortly, so please do us a favor and help us complete the survey. And if you'd like to have a recap of the videos and sharings that we have today, or maybe even share this very interesting seminar that we have today with your colleagues or friends, the video will be uploaded online on YouTube under Career Practitioners playlist. So you may go up, you may check us out on the playlist again if you would like to hear from us. So on behalf of Workforce Singapore, I thank everyone for your time and have a pleasant day ahead. Thank you.